Let's take a look at the fantasy impacts of hitting 120 targets for the wide receiver position. Looking at the full 2021 season, there were 23 wide receivers that hit 120 or more targets. The fantasy rank column shows where a wide receiver fell for total fantasy points on the year. If it's highlighted green, they were top 12 in total points. If they were highlighted blue, they were outside the top 12, but top 24 in total points. Then in yellow, PPG, points per game. This was players that had 10 plus points per game on the year. So looking specifically at 2021, 10 out of 23 wide receivers were top 12 in fantasy points. That's 43.48%. 10 out of 23 were somewhere between 13 and 24 in total fantasy points, which was also 43.48%. Add that together, that's 20 out of 23 wide receivers as top 24 in general for fantasy points, 86.96%, with 11 out of those 23 having 10 plus points per game, 47.83%, which draws the question, who are some guys that are being drafted outside of the top 20 for the wide receiver position that can hit 120 targets? Hollywood Brown is being drafted as the wide receiver 22, coming from Baltimore to Arizona with his former college quarterback, Kyler Murray. He was just top 10 in targets with a 26.7% target share, no D-hop for 6 weeks there. Darnell Mooney had a 26.7% target share in 2021. Don't see that changing because he is the clear Bears wide receiver 1, being drafted as the wide receiver 24. Jerry Jeudy is one of my favorite breakouts for the year with Russell Wilson. He had a 19.9% target share in 2021 and a 21.2% target share in 2020. Being drafted as a wide receiver 27. Allen Robinson is being drafted as the wide receiver 32 in a pass-heavy offense with the best quarterback he's ever had. Tyler Lockett is being drafted as a wide receiver 36. He only had 107 targets in 2021, but 132 targets in the year prior. He is on a team that is going to be chasing a lot of games. Same with Drake London and the Atlanta Falcons, who also will probably have to throw the ball a lot because they're going to be chasing a lot of games. Being drafted as the wide receiver 40. 8th overall pick, he handled a ton of volume at USC in his final season. This is an empty pass-catching room, just to be honest. Here's a list of some other guys that might hit 120 targets. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sutton, Elijah Moore, Juju, Rashad Bateman, Russell Gage if Godwin is injured long. And just understand, volume is king, but you have to be productive with the volume. But guys that do hit 120 targets on the year, we just saw were very productive in fantasy in 2021. So we're thinking the same can happen in 2022. Target guys when juggling who to draft that can hit this mark in 2022.